Mic check.
There we go. There we go, everybody. We're here live on the back porch of the field house. Coach, we're week 10. Week 10, but let's recap week 9 in that Burke Burnett game. Very much a needed win, a confidence booster, a get back on track. For the kids themselves, you kind of see all that kind of molding into one in that game. Let's get into it.
Well, I thought the kids traveled well. We had a good trip up there, and I thought the coaches did a good job of preparing the players for the temperature and what it was going to be, and the wind chill and so forth. We got there and got off the bus, and we got off behind their field house, and the field house was blocking that north wind. So when we walked between their field house and when we dressed our dressing room, there's a commons area, a breezeway there, and that breeze was blowing hard. And I said, "Holy mackerel!" But once you got in there and get dressed and got out there on the field, it wasn't too excruciating. I think the wind's about 14 miles an hour. And but it in the upper 40s as far as the wind chill. I thought the kids stayed focused. I thought we, like I said, traveled well. We ate our pregame meal on the way up there, ate it on the bus, so the kids were nutritionally ready to go for that game. I thought we were focused. I thought we came out early in the game there. The quarterback scrambled a little bit, and our one of our defensive backs got his eyes in the backfield, and they toasted us and went and scored that first play. Our first drive, first possession there, and it was 3rd and long. That was kind of disappointing thing about it. We knew he was going to throw the ball right there. But made that mistake. We came out and put a drive together, and I thought our running backs hit the hole hard the other night. We got our run game established, and anytime you get that run game established and you eat up the time on the clock, it takes momentum away from their offense and things they can do. So we went down and scored, made it 7-7. Then we kicked off to them and got a safety. They had some personnel changes back there, and when we attacked that personnel change, and Polito got a really good kick. They kind of muffled it back there on the -1, and ended up we tackled the guy in the end zone. We got a safety. So they had to kick it off to us, and we should have had really, really good field position. And we wasn't real smart on that. The most important thing on kickoff return, and I can ask the kids every day, and they're going to say, get the ball. Well, we didn't get the ball. We watched it land 1 yard from us, and they got the ball, and they scored first play. So those 2 plays, right, those 3 plays, all back to back. Our safety, our defensive back got his eyes in the backfield. We gave up a score. Their kickoff, and we didn't get the ball. We gave them the ball was number 2. Number 3, they scored the very first play there because we didn't fit all the holes. You take those 3 plays away from that ball game, and I'm really excited about it. I thought we played well. We were focused. Like I said, we established the run game. We got the run game going. Took some pressure off the passing game, and I just thought overall it was a good night for us.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that, that kick you talked about after the safety. Man, I tell you, Old Glory was out there blowing flat sideways, and that ball went up. And I saw what, on the receiving side, the young man stepped underneath the ball because it looked like it was going over his head, and it just dropped right behind him and right in front of another guy. Did kind of a little bit. I thought the boys did a fantastic job because that was a game of elements that night on Friday night. They had to contend with the wind and it being the coldest game that they've played all season.
It was, the coldest, and of course the wind, and that's one of the things we talk to our kids about is into that wind. You're going to pooch that ball, and you're going to get it up there, and it's going to hang, and it looks like it's going to be way over your head, and it's going to hang up, and it's going to come right down. And when I asked the young man, why didn't you get the ball? It was over my head. I said, you're going to watch it in the film on Saturday, and you're going to see it wasn't over your head. And sure enough, he saw it, and it was 1 yard from him. And that's just what the wind does, and that's why you pooch the ball. You hang it up there into the wind, and of course, we know Polito, our kicker, does a really good job of that, and actually gets that back spin and brings it back. But you're right, Joey. It was, as far as the elements go, it was the coldest game we've had so far. It was the windiest game we've had so far. I thought our kids were focused and did a good job in it.
Oh, yeah. I was thankful for you guys that the field house was on one end of the field and they had bleachers on the other end, so maybe it helped a little bit, tiny bit with some wind down there, but not much. Like we could see it just blowing everywhere.
It was cold and it was windy. And of course, the other night was their senior night. Anytime you have that last game of the year, they try to make it your senior night, and they did a good job of that and had a good crowd, and they came out focused. And, those little mistakes early kept them in the ballgame, kept their excitement, momentum going, and once we got that excitement turned around and kind of took that steam out of their sails, and they let it down a little bit there.
Yeah. So, Coach, let's go. Let's run through. Let's run through real quick. We're just going to run through the quarters of the game. So on the offensive side, like you said earlier, we established a run game and really pressed on that. And we were talking about on the radio. It looked like you guys had the entire playbook open to you. Once you established that run game, it seemed like you had control of it. And when, other than the few mistakes that were made there in the game, that offensive side looked like it was doing something that we've been trying to do a lot this season, but really got established and really took command of that run game.
Well, we've started for ever since the after the Polytech game, which some things happened, hurt our team there. We've had 4 sophomores starting on the offensive line, and we've got a running back that makes a sophomore be 5. So we've got 5. We've got some young kids playing right now, and they're getting better. They're gelling. The offensive line is the key to anything you do offensively. Either you're passing the ball, running the ball, whatever it may be. That offensive line's got to gel, and it takes time for that to happen. And like I said, several times before on the show here, we didn't have a spring. We didn't have much of a summer because of the COVID stuff. So the kids are getting better. They're gelling together. And I thought Coach Raines and the staff did a very, very good job of mixing up the run with the pass. Anytime you're able to take the pressure off the passing game and mix in that run, I've coached with Coach Raines for a long time, and he loves to run the ball. He likes to play action the ball and mix in the quick passing game and sprint out passing game. That's his stuff. And the other night, I thought our kids did a good job of doing it, and I thought he called a really good game. And besides the one sack off a bootleg that was a missed block, we didn't have any sacks the other night. Didn't have a whole lot of pressure, so that was good to see as well. They're getting better.
Well, I know having those sophomores up there and getting to see a game and them that confidence booster and feeling them that they did their job on Friday night, and they really can, that gel that has to happen. A lot of people don't understand, and they think that players can just line up and go to practice every day and the gel just happens, and it doesn't just happen.
Well, when I got to Lake Worth, Joey, they thought they could just go to the game on Friday nights, and that happens. A lot of these we've had to change the culture as far as practicing and skipping practice and those type of things, and just coming to a game and thinking you're going to play, and it don't happen that way. You just don't. It just don't work that way, and never has. The offensive line is like a glove, and I tell the kids that all the time. And a glove, you've got 5 fingers, and if you turn that glove, all 5 fingers go at one time. But if you turn that glove and one finger goes this way, then it don't work, and that's what we've had to correct and so forth. We had a real cold practice this morning out here, and kind of rainy and misty, and you could tell in the offensive line who was really focused and who wasn't, because you'd see 4 guys going this way and 1 guy going that way, and that glove's broke, and it ain't gonna work come Friday night. When you get ready to play that game, so we're getting better and better. The kids are gelling. The kids are getting. I think we're getting more mature. That's probably the word I need to say. More mature in the offensive line and growing. So that's good.
Yeah, they have to do. They're doing it by the day. And so real quick, I'll get you a cap on the defense. We'll get the other coaches in here. The defense we saw against Decatur, a team that was very balanced. We saw the defense, the defensive line and the linebackers really step up and really hone in on stopping that run. And we saw that again this week against Burke Burnett. Other than the one busted play after that kickoff, that defensive line has done a phenomenal job filling holes and being in position, linebackers coming downhill. The one thing we definitely noted on the show was that we saw more and more Bullfrogs around the ball as the tackle was happening.
Well, that's been an emphasis from Coach McNally and his staff now for several weeks out here in practice. Habits aren't just habits don't just happen. Habits have to be created, have to be worked on, have to be executed. And out here in practice, when the whistle blows, in other words, the play is ran and the ball carrier is tackled, they have so many seconds to get to the ball carrier. And if they're not there, they have to they do up downs. So they're teaching that hustle of the ball and that excitement about getting there. I thought the 2 things that are not going into that game, they do a great. Burke Burnett does a very, very good job of throwing the screens. And Coach McNally had his guys ready. The linebacker coach had his guys ready. Defensive line was ready. We tell our defensive line if it's easy, in other words, they don't hard set and pass pro you, something's up. Now you can watch the film. Our guys went across. It was really easy. They stopped and redirected and played the screen. So I don't think they had any successful screens against us. Matter of fact, I thought a couple calls could have been grounding the ball, throwing the ball away, and it's tough on an official to call that, because on the screen game, that's what you teach your quarterbacks to do, is throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage at the guy's feet. But I thought a couple of those was too far away from the running back's feet. But that's one of those things that you're not going to win that argument with officials on that particular call. But we stopped the run besides the one time. Linebackers were downhill, and like I said a while ago, at one time when our safety guys' eyes in the backfield and they toasted us over the top. That happens. You're trying to stop the run, you play and be aggressive and come down, and it happens. But we stopped the screen, we stopped the run. They had to revert back to the pass, and had a tough time with that.
Yeah, well, Coach, we're going to thank you for that. We're going to get a couple of the other coaches over here, and then we'll come back and we're going to talk about what this district lineup is looking like and what we're looking like for Friday night.
Sounds good.
Look at you. You done took your jacket off, everything. It was a little wet out there this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little water don't hurt nothing.
A little water, it makes the grass grow, right?
That's right.
Well, Coach, let's get right into it. We definitely saw they try to hit this with screens because they saw how successful Decatur was last week. So they thought they were going to be able to use that. You guys made an adjustment. So let's just start from start to finish. Let's give it a rundown on that defense.
Well, first of all, we yes, stopping the screen, or in the screen is a good complement to the passing game and into the running game, and so. We did a really good job of understanding how they ran it. Did a good job. The kids did a good job watching film and understanding, keying on it. And when they saw it, and we had guys on the sideline too doing that. And so it really helped. Yeah, they didn't complete a screen. And as far as total defense, if you think about it, first of all, we only defended 40 plays. Well, that's incredible. Because our offense was clicking so well and running that football, it shortens the game. And as a defensive coordinator, I love that. The less plays we have to defend, the less chance there is for making a mistake. And you saw we made 2 big mistakes in the first 4 plays. We got down to third down, third and long, and we're running a coverage. It's kind of new. The quarterback breaks and scrambles, and our deep safety comes up. He's supposed to stay deep. We got 10 other guys that can go make that tackle. And he's just being aggressive. And like Coach Welch said, he's trying to stop the run and got his eyes in the backfield, got behind us. And the very next play, after we score, kick off, get the safety, the kids did a great job on running down the field on kickoff and then getting that safety. And then, we turned the ball over on the kickoff return, and we ended up with 2 guys fitting in the same gap on the run, and we were in zero coverage for some reason, and no safety help. So those things will happen. And but after that, I mean, those 2 plays that was a 70-yard pass play and a 40-yard run. So that's 110 yards. So on the other 38 plays, we gave up a total of 80 yards. So
wow,
we had a fantastic night. And,
you keep any team underneath 250 yards offense total. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
I think we're at 202 or something like that.
That's great. Now, you had mentioned that having his eyes in the backfield. One thing we definitely noted was after that one burn, you could see that the boys adjust to it, defense adjust to it, you guys adjusted to the call. That quarterback, it seemed like they had that in plan. Their receivers finished their routes. That quarterback, it's almost like he waits for pressure, comes up like because he is a run threat. Mm-hmm. He comes running to get everybody to drop and then tries to make his pass. And they didn't complete very many passes on us.
And the interception we got was textbook by Isaiah Hall, staying deep. Not the guy did scramble a little bit. He stayed deep. The kid made a little high throw, and we had actually collisioned a receiver, so there was nobody in the area. And he got his state-leading eighth interception. So he's leading the state there. I believe he tied the school record. So he's having an outstanding season.
Oh, yes, he definitely is. Tell us a little bit. The one thing we had questions because we really couldn't see it from where we're at, that when Pulte got that turnover from where we were at, it looked like it like just took a clean bounce. But I was talking to him. He stayed the night at the house on Saturday, and he said, "No, it just came right to me."
Never hit the ground. Isaiah came down on the run like he was supposed to, and got a good, nice, clean hit on the running back, and the ball just kind of just fell. I mean, it fell forward and out, and Pulte was there, and he's like, "Oh, look what I got!" Yeah, and he's such a nice guy. He stopped on the one to let the offense score.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
nice,
He's a nice guy because
yeah.
I guess he didn't want to score. I would have scored the touchdown, but he I've given him heck about that. But no, that's definitely get the ball down to the one. Offense is going to score. So
yeah. So you guys have gotten a chance. You're preparing this week now. Mm-hmm. You're preparing for Gainesville, the last regular season game. Can you give us anything on that?
Absolutely. Gainesville's got a big quarterback. He moved in here later in the season. He's really been a spark plug for them. He's good. He's big, 6'2", 235, big fella. Throws the ball well. Has a long motion, but when he throws it, he can zip it and runs the option. Likes to run the option and does a pretty good job with it. So we've got our hands full. They're a good football team. They're well coached. Offensive line is very solid. The receivers are solid. 14 is a good quality receiver. 2 is kind of their all-purpose guy. 2 is a receiver / running back. But and then 4, and he's got a strange name, but it's like I don't know. Anyway, I'm not gonna mess it up. But anyway, 4 is running back. I mean, he's not real big, but that guy has got some speed. So we got to do a real good job of containing him. He had 239 yards, something like that against Burke. So, I mean, he can run. So we got our hands full, but nothing we haven't seen this year. And number one thing, we got to stop the run.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, good luck this week preparing. We're looking forward to last home game.
Yeah, we are too.
So we'll see you this Friday night.
See you, Joey.
Good morning. We've got old Tracy Raines going to sit down with us here, give us a little rundown of numbers. Hey, first of all, I have to say this. What an amazing job you guys did. I could almost see you guys on the other side, just the playbook open, just working it. One of the old things being taught here at Lake Worth when I was coming up, and I think it goes across almost every program, is if they give you something, just keep attacking that same thing, but from different ways. And we saw a lot of that. So break it down for us.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Huh?
There you go.
Yeah, it was a very balanced night for us. And, you enjoyed those games because the linemen are staying in their blocks. I think we ended up passing for 202 yards and rushing for 313 yards. So that was the first night we had this year offensively that it was that balanced, and we were able to run the ball. And that helps the pass game, especially because the second and third quarter we were going into that stiff wind. It's about 15 or 16 mile an hour wind, and that was pretty tough. And even though we were going into that wind, those were our most two productive quarters point wise. So kids did a good job. Now I will say this, coaching wise, when we draw the plays up on the board every week, they're designed to work. Sometimes they just don't work because of the guys on the other side from you. So.
There you go.
So
you got some numbers for us. Break it down for us.
Yeah, Caleb ended up 15 of 23 for 202 yards and a touchdown. That was very good into that win. Cam Kimball came back the other night, running back, played a great game. He turned it on. Ended up with 22 rushes for 146 yards and 4 touchdowns. Damian Moore had 14 rushes for 109 yards. And on the receiving side, we had Demarion Pulte had 7 receptions for 121 yards, and Mark Fulkerson had 4 for 41. So once again, we had a 100-yard receiver and 2 100-yard rushers, along with Caleb passing for 202. So
yeah, it's a big deal when you have. I mean, I don't know, those of you that are listening out there, it's a big deal when you have a seasoned running back in there, and you got a young man. That's a sophomore that's trying to look up to Big Brother and fill those shoes for the next season. And I thought that Cam Kimball, we definitely noted that. He had an extra gear on Friday night. It seemed like he was dropping it pretty quick.
He did. He's had some nagging injuries throughout the year, and he's getting back to full speed now, and it's good to see. So,
yeah, we like to see that. And we did see We always like to see when anytime we get short yardage, we don't know whether it's going to be a quarterback sneak or if it's going to be a run. But we loved seeing that offense. So we kept just going over and over about it. I felt like the playbook was wide open.
It was.
Once you established that run game, and it was just a great thing to see develop. There was a lot of rotation that was happening. We saw some other receivers that were coming in the game, and the backs in the backfield were rotating quite a bit. Seemed like everybody was pretty fresh about every play.
That's right. We were trying to keep them off balance with some of our formations and stuff, and of course we were going 5 set and putting 5 wides in there a lot of the times, and then putting our tight end back in and mixing our 2 running backs up, and I think we did a good job of keeping them off balance. The coaches did a great job of getting the personnel rotated in there, and the offensive linemen stepped up the other night. They had one of their best games of the season, both pass blocking and run blocking. So very proud of them because it is a young group, and 4 of them out there were sophomores. So.
Yeah, we love to see that. We love to see the development coming along and maturity just stepping along game by game. Now, by now, you guys have watched some film on Gainesville.
Yes, sir.
Break us down into what we're looking at.
So they're a 3-4 defensive front, which is a little bit different than what we've seen the last 2 weeks. Their defensive line, once you see them, you're going to think it's a college defensive line. They got some big kids up there. Number 55, I think, also plays offensive line. He's a 5 technique. 77's a big nose guard in there, and I think he also plays offensive line. Their secondary is pretty solid. It's a good group, Joey. And, they mix it up in there, 3-4. They'll bring some blitzes. You don't know where they're coming from, and so we've got to pay attention as to what's going on and make sure they're lining up to our formations and get them in the situations that we want them in instead of them just teeing off on us. So.
All right. Well, it looks like you guys got something developing here, getting ready for this Friday night. Coach, look forward to having you, seeing you guys on Friday night.
That's
last
right.
Regular season home game.
Can't believe it's already here.
It's already here. We were waiting so long for it to get here, and it got here.
It is.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Joey.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
And for the finale. So real quick before we break down and get into the district layout and what we have looking forward to coming this Friday, it's the 10th week, so I got to continue on with what I've always said. Whether it's win, lose, or draw, the score doesn't always tell the story. The underlying to that is what these boys came through with COVID and going all up, no preseason, or not preseason, no conditioning, all that stuff coming up and everything having to be happening in a hurry fashion. I feel like this whole season's been a 2-minute offense. Is what I feel like the whole season's been kind of just going fast. But there's been a lot of stuff that's happened throughout the season. We're not going to dive into it, but there's been a lot of adversity that the boys have had to face on the field, off the field, in the classroom, growing up as young men, and where you're at today going into having a chance getting into the playoffs for another year. Coach, what is on the mind of these boys right now? What do you see?
Well, I think you saw the other night in the game that they're wanting to play football. They're wanting to win football games. They were throwing some obstacles, and obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off the goal. And our eyes got unfocused there for a little while, and of course, we all understand why. It's a shame that happened, but it happened. I'm very, very proud of our coaches and proud of our community for staying focused, and that's part of growing up. It's part of maturing. You always want to bottom line, I praise God for what we've seen, we've matured through all this, we've grown, and we have a chance now to by winning that ball game the other night, our future's still in our hands. I told the kids after the last home game here that we played against Decatur that we have 2 games left and our future's in our hands. If we win these last 2 games, we have a chance to make the playoffs. And they went out the other night in a very unfavorable conditions in the wind and the cold and the weather, and they won that ball game. They were out here this morning, and it's cold, and it's nasty, and it's rainy, and they were out here this morning practicing. And it shows you that we're focused, and we want to win some ball games and want to make the playoffs. So I'm very, very proud of our kids, proud of our coaches, great training staff, very good support from our school board and our administration, and Lake Worth is a good place to be.
I will agree. I've been here for a while, so it's great. Thanks for those words, Coach. Hey, really quick, we're going to get down in this district. We're going to break it down We know that it's you can't project anything until we have this game Friday night. But just to lay it all out there, it looks like already summed up the 1 and 2 spot is Decatur and Springtown is what you look like you have summed up in the district. Although Springtown still does have some games to play, and depending on what happens with everybody else, what that looks like. But I'm going to go ahead and say 1 and 2 is what we're looking at there. But the real question is Gainesville and Hershey. What we're looking at with Gainesville's 1 and 2 right now, and they still have left to play us on Friday, and they have to play that game against Hershey. We know Hershey's gone through a couple rounds of this coronavirus. Three rounds. So 3 rounds, thrice.
And the thing about it is, it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their kids. All 3 times it was somebody else's kids having to be quarantined. So it has kind of a bad fall there for Hershey having to go through that.
Yeah, and so Hershey is going to end up having to play 3 games, I think, in a matter of like 14 or 15 days to finish up this season. But Gainesville has to play Hershey still. So that's a question mark for Gainesville. We want to beat them Friday night, and we beat them Friday night, puts us at 2 and 3. And essentially, Gainesville plays Hershey, and if Gainesville beats Hershey, that puts them at 2 and 2. Or they'll be at 2. They'll end up being at 2 and 3. They lose to us, so they'll end up being at 2 and 3. So that's tie with us. We'll win the tiebreaker there for the win over the top. Is that correct?
Coach Raines handled all that stuff for me.
Oh, he handled it. Okay.
There is a chance. There is a scenario where we could all be 2 and 3 and tied for that 4th place spot there, but. Focused on and getting our kids ready for. Coach Raines handles all that stuff like that. And
I should have got him up here, but
he's always handled that for us ever since I've been coaching with him. But I'll say this: we had a DEC meeting the other day, and Hershey missed 3 games because of COVID. Now, 2 of those will be made up. 1 of them probably will not be made up. Otherwise, there would have been 2 games, 4 teams playing this coming Wednesday. Because when you said, "Boy, there's 3 games in 14 days." You can only play in days of 5. So it would have been Wednesday, and then 5 days after that, and 5 days after that, which would have been the next Saturday. So I do think one of those teams will probably not play because of some situations they have in-house. So I think Hershey will probably get a win off of that game. But there is a way that there could be a 2 and 3 scenario with 3 of us, and all I focus on is going to win this ball game and getting ourselves in the playoff position.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm happy to be in the greenhouse because the dark blue house of the Cowboys has just completely. I didn't even waste my time on it, but I love being here for Friday Night Football. To me, is more exciting than anything else.
I think that's a great example, Joey, of what I said a while ago as far as your offensive line. Just a couple of years ago, the Cowboys, their offensive line was the strength of their team, and they had that run game established and opened up everything for Dak and the passing game. And they've lost some offensive linemen. You had the couple of guys that retired there and some injuries, and their offensive line is depleted. And what happens? Your quarterback has to make some run. Has to go with the run game. Your quarterback, and Dak gets injured. And the other night they missed some passing situations, and Andy Dalton gets fire knocked out of him. So it all goes back to that offensive line, and that's why I enjoy coaching the offensive line like I do. I don't get to do it much anymore since I'm here, but the offensive line is where your offensive is all based around, and I'm glad ours is getting better and maturing.
And how exciting that is, being that 4 out of the 5 are sophomores. Yep. That means, you got a couple more years with them. And, Coach, I know you guys have some more planning, some stuff to do. And we look forward to this Friday night. And I want to just, thank you guys and thank Lake Worth ISD for allowing us to have this channel and be out here. And thank you for everybody that's supported this team, this community. This Friday night, the kickoff is at 7 p.m.
And it's pink out night.
And it's pink out night. And are we doing the senior night as well? I don't know, with COVID, there was some change early on. We did something.
Well, we actually did our senior night, the first game of the year, but not knowing if we were going to get to play the whole season or not. So I've got to get with Mr. Kading. I've got to get with Miss Flowers. My thought is I'm going to introduce the senior football players. Just have them come out of the tunnel early. Have them introduce them. I'm going to introduce them over the loudspeaker. Probably do our trainers as well. I'll let the band introduce their seniors at halftime as well as the cheerleaders. So we're probably going to do something along those lines, just recognizing our seniors and appreciate them for what they've done for us this year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So 7 o'clock is the kickoff. 6:30 we'll be live from the booth. Myself and Chris White, and we don't know if we can peel Josh Wilcoxon back up in the booth. But hey, we appreciate all the support you guys had. Hey, this Friday night, I love you guys are on the feed, but here at home, I need you all to come out, get a ticket, www.lwisd.org/athletics. Scroll down. You'll find where you can buy the tickets. Also, make sure you go on there and buy the Dave Campbell's edition magazine of Lake Worth. We still have some of those magazines left. They'll be for sale at the front gate, but you can go ahead and pre-order them online and then just show your receipt at the front gate, and they'll give you a book there. So, hey, we thank you guys, Coach.
Thank you, Joy.
Any closing words?
It's been a great year. Appreciate what you've done and the way you did the live streaming for us and everything. And again, Booster Club. And thanks for what you do. And thanks for everybody that helps out.
We appreciate it, Coach. It's an honor. Hey, and for Coach Tracy Welch, the Bullfrog football team, and Lake Worth ISD, I'm Joey Wilcoxon. You guys be good. Let's go, Bullfrogs.